Welcome to Joseph's Kitchen. I'm Stan Johnson. We have been cooking bread. And the question comes up, so why do I want to make bread other than just to feed myself? Well, yes, it is very good. I mean, there's very few things in life that taste better than fresh, hot, homemade, whole wheat bread. When it is cooking, the whole house is filled with a wonderful aroma, and even people that don't even like bread come and say, can I have a piece? Can I have a piece? Can I have a second piece? And then once they taste it, you going to be bringing any of that bread? People from church come up and say, you bringing some more of that bread next Sunday? Or if I didn't take bread, then, where's the bread? Where's the bread? You didn't bring bread? So they really like it. Okay, so what are the benefits? Let's talk about just the benefits of the bread. So the story in bread was this. So, I mean, go back to before the pyramids. The primary thing that mankind lived off of, I mean, even Jesus said, man should not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. I always took that to be saying, well, you need to know the word, and it does say that. But what I didn't catch for a long time was, probably it was saying, every man should not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. Probably it was said because in Jesus' day, apparently most of the people, the primary thing they lived off of was wheat bread. Now, this was fine until 1860. Then mankind started getting really smart. And the problem was, once you break the berry, okay, so as long as it's still in berry, they took them out of the pyramids, been to the pyramids, some 3,000 years, planted them, and they still grew. So as long as it's still in a berry, it doesn't go bad. That is, unless mice find it or some kind of mold or it gets wet or something like that. But if you keep it dry and relatively cool, it's going to keep for a long time. One lady emailed me and said, yeah, I got some 25 years old and it's still good. So the problem becomes, how do you get it to last? Because as soon as you take it and grind it and put it into flour, such as we have here, you got 10 days, 2 weeks on the outside, and it starts going bad, start getting mold. Which, by the way, if you don't want to get mold, if you want to last longer, I do not recommend you put it in the refrigerator. Instead, I recommend you put it in a bread box, or at least cover it with foil, because you don't want the light to hit it. Light hits it, and the mold grows faster. So within 10 to 14 days, of the time that bread kernel or that bread berry is broken, it starts spoiling. But in 1860, mankind got really smart. Hey, if we take away the shell, so kind of like an egg, I've got an egg here somewhere. Okay. If you think about an egg, the outside of the egg is, the whole egg is similar to a grain or a wheat berry. The outside, and then there's the inside is like the yolk or the endosperm. And then there's the white part inside that is like the white of the egg. Well, they figured out, hey, if you throw away that shell, if you throw away the germ or the little yolk part of it, and just if you can separate the white from the rest of it, hey, that white, hey, that doesn't spoil. So that way, we're not going to have bread that spoils. So when they threw away the shell, they threw away the egg yolk, so to speak, or the germ. What they didn't realize is they were throwing also away most of the nourishment of the bread. So then the government comes along and says, oh, you got to add niacin, you got to add this, you got to add this. So what we wound up with is bread that doesn't have very much natural nutrition to it, but it doesn't spoil. Well, why not just keep the berries into berries until we are ready to make bread and then eat it up within, well, let's say 7 to 10 days. That's what we do at our house, and I mean, yes, I've had it spoil at 7 days. Most of the time it'll go 10 days, but most of the time it doesn't last 3 or 4 days before my wife has asked me to make another loaf. But now let me talk about the nutrition. Okay, so I'm shocked that I was 68 years old before I actually had fresh, homemade, whole wheat bread. I'm shocked at how good it tastes, but I'm more shocked at how good it is for me. I used to have this hand cream, and I was constantly putting hand cream on a couple of times a day, at least once a day. And like my little granddaughter comes in, and her hands are like flat paper because they have this natural oil in them. Grandpa, or actually Poppy, But why are you putting that in your, well, because I'm rubbing my fingers on that little pink stuff so I can grip the paper. And what old me, because when you get old, the oil comes out of your skin. I also noticed that a lot of people that eat bread have fewer wrinkles. Now, that's not a guarantee. Of course, it hasn't, maybe I started too late in life with it, but anyway, since I've started this, I noticed I don't have to put on hand cream anymore. I've noticed that my hands just are naturally softer. I'd like to be able to say my wrinkles are going away, my gray hair is going away, but maybe next year. But what I can say is I play racquetball. I've been playing racquetball for, I don't know, 10, 12 years. And in that process, as I started growing older, trying to keep up with young men, I've tried all kinds of super sports drinks and potions and lotions and pills and Rev Me Up and everything, trying to keep up with these guys. And then when I started eating bread, I was needing to go to racquetball one day, and I just grabbed a slice of bread, ate it on the way to play racquetball. When I got there, I ran like a wind. Man, even the young guys saying, man, what got into you tonight? You played really good. I not only noticed that I had more go, but I had more strength. I mean, I was running after balls and turning, and it was almost like I was younger. Now, I always eat a slice of bread before I go play racquetball. I've also noticed if I eat one slice in the morning, or say mid-morning, say brunch, and another one at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I can get by, I'm satisfied, my body is satisfied on 2 slices a day. So you take a loaf, you slice it with this slicer here, which is not easy for me to show you right now. Slice that thing into 14 slices, and you eat 2 slices a day. 1 loaf feeds 1 person for 1 week. A loaf in the ballpark of $10. That's about, what, $360 a year? Now, there's other expenses. I mean, you got to buy oil and things like that. But for about $1,000 a year, you can feed a person with healthy, good-tasting, wholesome bread. I can eat 3 slices in a day. Sometimes I'll do that. But I've also discovered if I eat 4 slices, then sometimes I have so much energy, I can't get sleep before 12 o'clock at night. So, I mean, it's actually energy. Why? Because it's chock full of vitamin B, which there's a lot of deficiencies in our body because we don't have enough B. Matter of fact, some people say that when they started eating bread, their warts fell off because warts don't like vitamin B. Other people, it's also full of vitamin E, which is why it's good for your skin and your hair and things like that. So there's all kinds of nutrition. There's probably not a perfect food on the planet. I mean, one specific food that a person can eat, that's all they can eat for their entire life and get everything they need. It probably does not exist. But if it exists, probably the closest thing out there is whole wheat bread. And that's why I recommend you go to josephskitchen.com. You want to order a machines package because you got to break the berry into the flour, and then you put it into the bread machine, and you push a button, and 2 hours and 20 minutes later, you got bread. Also, then you need to decide how much food you want to have. Do you want to have food 1 person 1 year, 2 people 1 year, 4 people 1 year, or 6 people for 1 year? All of that is at josephskitchen.com. Go to josephskitchen.com. Don't wait till the emergency. Start making your bread now.